Laziness is nothing more than the habit of resting before you get tired. Let me tell you something that might shake you. Laziness is stealing from you. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but every single day that you let laziness win, you are losing something far more valuable than time. You are losing opportunities, potential, and success. Most people don't even realize they are trapped. They think laziness is just taking it easy or waiting for the right moment. But let me ask you, how many times has that right moment ever come? How many dreams have been lost because someone decided to wait instead of act? Laziness disguises itself as comfort, but in reality, it is the silent killer of ambition. It whispers, "You deserve a break. You can start tomorrow. It's okay to rest a little longer." And before you know it, days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. You wake up one day wondering where all your time went and why nothing changed. But here's the truth. Laziness is not a life sentence. It's a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken. You don't need motivation to start. You need action. Today, I'm going to show you how to kill laziness once and for all. I'm going to teach you the principles, the mindset, and the exact strategies to break free and take control of your life. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I give you the tools to defeat laziness and unlock your true potential. Let's dive in. Number 1, the hidden cost of laziness. Laziness is a silent thief. It doesn't break into your house. It doesn't steal your wallet. And it doesn't make a loud noise when it strikes. No, it works in silence. It steals your future, your dreams, and your success. One wasted hour at a time. The worst part? Most people don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. Every moment of laziness carries a hidden cost. Something I call the laziness tax. This is the price you pay for every action you avoid, every opportunity you miss, and every potential you leave untapped. When you hit the snooze button in the morning instead of waking up and getting to work, you're paying that tax. When you scroll endlessly on social media instead of building your skills, you're paying that tax. And unlike money, which you can earn back, time lost to laziness is gone forever. Think about this. The most successful people in the world don't have extra hours in their day. They have the same 24 hours that you and I do. The difference, they don't let laziness rob them. They know that every decision they make is either working for them or against them. There is no middle ground. Every time you choose comfort over progress, you are actively choosing failure over success. Laziness also has an invisible long-term cost. It doesn't just delay progress. It creates a chain reaction that affects your future. That one missed opportunity today could mean an entirely different life 5 years from now. Imagine 2 people, one who wakes up early, works hard, and builds a disciplined routine, and another who constantly delays action, procrastinates, and waits for the right time. 5 years later, one is far ahead in life, while the other is still stuck in the same place, wondering where the time went. But here's the harsh reality. It's not just about missed chances or delayed progress. Laziness destroys confidence. Every time you set a goal and fail to act, you teach your brain that you can't be trusted. Over time, this weakens your belief in yourself, making it even harder to take action in the future. It's a vicious cycle, one that can last for years if you don't break free. Think about the small things you've avoided doing. Maybe it was that book you wanted to read, that skill you wanted to learn, that fitness goal you kept postponing. Alone, these seem insignificant, but stack them together over time, and they become the reason your life stays the same while others move forward. Laziness isn't just a temporary delay. It's a lifetime habit that compounds over time. Now, let's talk about money. People assume laziness doesn't have a financial impact, but they couldn't be more wrong. Success isn't just about working harder. It's about showing up, taking action, and putting in the effort when others won't. Every lazy decision you make today affects your earning potential tomorrow. That's why high achievers seem to catch all the breaks. It's not luck. It's their ability to consistently put in the effort while others find excuses. And let's not forget the impact on relationships. Laziness seeps into every area of life. It affects friendships, careers, and even health. When you fail to put in the effort, whether it's maintaining friendships, improving skills, or working on personal growth, things deteriorate. People start respecting you less. They trust you less. And worst of all, you start trusting yourself less. Here's the truth. Laziness is not a harmless habit. It's a dream killer. It will rob you of everything that matters if you let it. But the good news, you don't have to. You can make a decision today to stop paying the laziness tax. You can choose action over excuses. You can choose growth over stagnation. The first step is awareness. Now that you know the cost, are you willing to keep paying it? Or will you finally decide to take control and start moving toward the life you deserve? The choice is yours. Number 2, the 4 enemies that fuel laziness. Laziness doesn't just happen on its own. It's not something you wake up with one day like a cold or the flu. It's the result of habits, beliefs, and most importantly, the hidden enemies that keep feeding it. If you want to kill laziness, you have to go straight to the root and eliminate the forces that keep you stuck. There are 4 main enemies that fuel laziness, and if you don't recognize them, they will control you for the rest of your life. The first enemy is fear of failure, the silent killer of dreams. Most people aren't lazy because they don't have goals. They're lazy because they're afraid. Afraid of looking stupid, afraid of making mistakes, afraid that they'll try and still fail. So instead of taking action, they do the easiest thing possible: nothing. Fear of failure is one of the greatest contributors to laziness because it convinces you that if you don't try, you can't fail. But here's the truth. Doing nothing is the greatest failure of all. When you refuse to take action because you're afraid, you're already failing. You just don't realize it yet. The biggest achievers in history weren't fearless. They felt the same doubts, the same insecurities, and the same uncertainties. But the difference is, they moved forward anyway. They didn't let fear keep them paralyzed. They knew that action is always better than regret. If fear of failure is keeping you stuck, remember this: you can either have the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One lasts for a short time, the other lasts forever. The second enemy is waiting for motivation, the greatest lie ever told. How many times have you said to yourself, "I'll start when I feel ready," or "I just need to get motivated"? Let me break a hard truth to you. Motivation is a myth. It's one of the biggest lies people tell themselves to justify laziness. If you wait to feel motivated before you start, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. The reason successful people accomplish so much is not because they feel motivated all the time. It's because they act even when they don't feel like it. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. The simple truth is that once you start, the motivation follows. The first push-up is the hardest. The first page of a book is the hardest. The first cold call, the first gym session, the first step out of your comfort zone. It's all hard at first. But once you take action, something amazing happens. You build momentum. Suddenly, things feel easier. Suddenly, you don't need motivation because you have momentum pushing you forward. If you've been waiting for motivation, stop. Take the first step. The feeling will come after. The third enemy is comfort addiction, the trap that keeps you small. Laziness isn't just a habit, it's an addiction. And the substance that fuels it is comfort. We live in a world where everything is designed for comfort. You don't have to walk, you can take the elevator. You don't have to cook, you can order food. You don't have to go outside, you can binge watch TV for hours. Everything is designed to make life easier. And while that may sound great, it's also a trap. Comfort is the greatest enemy of progress. The more comfortable you become, the less likely you are to take action. And the scariest part, comfort kills your potential, slowly. It doesn't destroy your future in a single moment. It happens gradually, one skipped workout, one delayed project, one excuse at a time. Before you know it, years have passed, and you realize you're the same person you were 5 years ago. If you want to break free from laziness, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to stop seeking the easy route and start embracing challenges. Because here's the truth, growth only happens in discomfort. The most successful people are the ones who willingly put themselves in difficult situations, because they know that's where the magic happens. The fourth enemy is the influence of a lazy environment. Have you ever noticed that when you spend time with lazy people, you start picking up their habits? It's not a coincidence. Laziness is contagious. If you surround yourself with people who make excuses, avoid responsibility, and spend their time wasting opportunities, you will become just like them. Your environment is shaping you every single day, whether you realize it or not. The places you spend time in, the people you talk to, the habits you see, all of it influences your actions. If your surroundings make laziness easy, then laziness will become your default state. But here's the good news. You can change your environment. You can surround yourself with people who inspire you, who push you to be better, who hold you accountable. You can design your surroundings to make productivity easy and laziness difficult. Think about your current environment right now. Is it pushing you forward or pulling you back? The answer to that question will tell you a lot about where you're heading in life. Laziness is not just about what you do or don't do. It's about what's controlling you. If you want to kill laziness, you have to kill its four biggest enemies: fear of failure, waiting for motivation, comfort addiction, and a lazy environment. Now that you know what's been holding you back, the next step is simple. Destroy these enemies before they destroy you. Fear, face it. Motivation, create it through action. Comfort, step out of it. Environment, change it. Because in the end, laziness is not about what you want to do. It's about what you allow to control you. And if you don't take control, these four enemies will keep running your life. The choice is yours. Number 3. The power of immediate action. Laziness thrives in hesitation. The moment you hesitate, the moment you stop to think instead of act, you give laziness an open door to take over. That's why the most dangerous words in the world are, "I'll do it later." Later turns into tomorrow, tomorrow turns into next week. And before you know it, an entire year has passed, and you're still stuck in the same place, wondering why nothing has changed. But here's the truth. Action is the only cure for laziness. The people who get things done, the ones who achieve great success, don't always feel like working. They don't always have motivation. They don't always have the perfect conditions, but they take action anyway, because they understand something most people don't. Waiting is a trap. Most people believe they need to feel motivated before they can start. They say, "I'll begin when I feel ready," as if some magical moment of inspiration will come and push them forward. But let me tell you something. Motivation is not what creates action. It's the other way around. Action creates motivation. The hardest part of anything is getting started. But once you begin, something shifts. Your energy changes. Your mindset shifts. Your body and mind adjust to the movement. The problem is, most people never get past that initial resistance. They wait for motivation, not realizing that motivation follows movement, not the other way around. That's why you can sit around for hours, thinking about going to the gym and feel no desire to go. But the moment you put on your shoes and start moving, suddenly, you feel the energy to do it. Laziness has one major weakness. It can't survive in motion. The moment you start moving, even if it's just a small step, the grip of laziness begins to fade. That's why taking action is the most powerful thing you can do. But the key is to do it immediately. The longer you wait, the stronger laziness becomes. Your brain will start finding excuses. "I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. I don't have enough time." And once you allow one excuse, more will follow. That's why there's a simple but powerful rule that can change your life. And that is the 5-second rule. The moment you feel the impulse to do something important, you must physically move within 5 seconds, or your brain will kill the idea. It sounds simple, but it works. Because the real enemy isn't lack of skill or resources, it's hesitation. Action also has a secret power that most people don't realize. It unlocks hidden resources. When you sit still, when you're trapped in laziness, your mind doesn't see possibilities. But the moment you start moving, you begin to see solutions, opportunities, and paths that were invisible before. It's like driving at night. Your headlights only show the next 50 feet, but as you keep driving, the road continues to reveal itself. That's how success works. You don't need to see the whole path before you start. You just need to move forward, and everything else will unfold along the way. But if you refuse to take that first step, you will stay in the same place forever. The secret to breaking laziness isn't about making big, overwhelming changes. It's about starting. Starting small. Starting immediately. The hardest part of a workout is getting dressed and stepping into the gym. The hardest part of writing a book is sitting down and typing the first sentence. The hardest part of making a change is taking the first action. Once you do, momentum kicks in. And momentum is the enemy of laziness. When you're in motion, everything becomes easier. But most people never experience momentum because they quit before it can build. They take 1 or 2 small steps, then stop. They rest too soon. And when they stop, laziness returns, stronger than before. The solution: keep moving. Don't give yourself time to negotiate with laziness. If you stop too often, you'll fall right back into the same cycle. Action is a habit. The more you do it, the easier it gets. The people who get ahead in life aren't necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. They are simply the ones who take the most action. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't sit around hoping for inspiration. They don't waste time overthinking. They just start because they know that action is the only thing that leads to results. Not plans, not intentions, not wishes, action. So let me ask you, how much time have you already lost because of hesitation? How many opportunities have passed you by because you waited instead of acted? If you don't take action now, when will you? Because here's the reality. Your future is being built right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. And every moment of inaction is shaping that future. The only question is, will you let laziness control it, or will you take control yourself? The choice is yours. But don't wait too long to decide. The clock is already ticking. Number 4, the science of momentum and discipline. Laziness doesn't disappear on its own. You can't wish it away. You can't wait it out. And you definitely can't beat it by hoping you'll feel different tomorrow. The only way to destroy laziness is by creating something stronger: momentum and discipline. These are the two forces that separate the winners from the ones who never make it. Because success isn't about occasional bursts of effort. It's about consistent action, doing the work over and over again, even when you don't feel like it. Most people live their lives in cycles of stopping and starting. They get inspired, take action for a few days, then stop. They go to the gym for a week, then quit. They work on a project for a few days, then lose interest. And every time they stop, they lose momentum. That's why progress feels so hard for them, because they are constantly starting over from zero. They think the problem is motivation, but the real problem is their lack of momentum. You see, momentum is what makes action feel easier over time. When you take consistent action, your body and mind adjust. And before you know it, hard work becomes second nature. But most people never reach that stage because they quit too soon. Momentum is like a heavy train. When a train is at a complete stop, even a small rock on the tracks can keep it from moving. But once it starts rolling, even a steel wall can't stop it. That's how success works. The hardest part is always the beginning. That first workout, that first business call, that first uncomfortable step. But if you push through the resistance, something magical happens. You gain speed. Suddenly taking action doesn't feel so hard anymore. Suddenly waking up early becomes natural. Suddenly doing the work becomes part of who you are. But that only happens if you commit to pushing through the first stage of difficulty. Most people never get there. They stop too soon. They take 1 or 2 steps, feel a little resistance, and go back to their old ways. And every time they do, they make it harder for themselves. Now let's talk about the other side of the equation: discipline. If momentum is the engine that keeps you moving, discipline is the driver that makes sure you stay on track. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation is gone. And let's be honest, motivation will disappear. No matter how fired up you feel today, there will come a time when you wake up and don't want to do the work. That's when most people quit. They say, "I don't feel like it today, I'll do it tomorrow." But here's the secret that high achievers understand: you don't need to feel like it to do it. Discipline is about taking action regardless of how you feel. Most people confuse discipline with restriction. They think discipline means making life harder, but it's actually the opposite. Discipline gives you freedom. It frees you from the constant battle of trying to convince yourself to work. It eliminates the stress of procrastination, the guilt of wasted time, and the regret of missed opportunities. When you build discipline, you don't have to force yourself to do things anymore. You just do them, because that's who you've become. But how do you build discipline? You start small. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just commit to one small habit, one action, every day. No matter what, the key is consistency. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your identity as someone who takes action. And every time you break a promise to yourself, you strengthen the habit of laziness. That's why discipline isn't just about what you do. It's about who you are becoming. Another thing that destroys discipline is the habit of rewarding yourself too early. Have you ever noticed how people start working on something, make a little progress, and then stop to celebrate? They go to the gym for a few weeks and then take a break. They start a business and then slow down when they get their first success. This is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Because when you stop, you kill momentum. The most successful people have a simple rule: never stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. That's the difference between people who achieve great things and people who just dream about them. Now here's where it all comes together. If you want to kill laziness, You must create momentum and master discipline. The first few days will be hard. You will feel resistance. Your brain will tell you to stop. But if you push through, if you stay consistent, something incredible will happen. Laziness will lose its power over you. Instead of fighting against yourself, you will work effortlessly. Instead of debating whether or not to take action, you will just do it. And when that happens, you'll wonder why you ever let laziness control you in the first place. So here's your challenge. Commit to one small action today. It doesn't have to be big. Just take one step, and then another, and then another. Keep moving until action becomes your new normal. Because once you build momentum and discipline, laziness will never stand a chance. The only question is, are you finally ready to take control? Number 5. Kill distractions. Control your environment. Laziness is not just about what you do or don't do, it's about where you are and what surrounds you. Your environment has more control over your actions than you realize. It shapes your habits, influences your mindset, and determines whether you stay lazy or take action. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because they live in an environment that makes failure and laziness the easiest option. If you want to kill laziness, you have to kill the conditions that allow it to survive. Think about it. Why is it so easy to waste time on social media, but so hard to read a book? Why is it effortless to binge watch TV, but difficult to work on your goals? It's not because watching TV is more enjoyable or because reading is harder. It's because your environment is set up for distraction, not productivity. The easier it is to do something, the more likely you are to do it. And right now, everything in your surroundings is designed to keep you comfortable, distracted, and lazy. Distractions are the #1 weapon laziness uses to control you. The moment you sit down to work, your phone lights up. You decide to start a project, but notifications, emails, and endless scrolling pull you in. Before you know it, an hour has passed, and you've accomplished nothing. But here's the truth. Distractions are not accidents. They are deliberately designed to steal your time and attention. Social media apps are built to keep you addicted. Streaming platforms are programmed to make you watch just one more episode. And if you don't take control of your environment, these distractions will control you. The worst part, every time you get distracted, you're not just losing time. You're losing focus. And focus is one of the most valuable things you have. When you switch from one task to another, your brain doesn't instantly adjust. It takes time to refocus, and those small interruptions add up. Scientists call this attention residue, the leftover mental clutter from switching between tasks. That's why after checking your phone, it takes a few minutes to get back into deep focus. Now imagine doing this dozens of times a day. How much focus are you really left with? How much time are you actually wasting? Now let's talk about how to fix this problem. First, you need to identify your biggest distractions. Take a hard look at where your time goes. Is it your phone, the internet, TV, mindless conversations? Once you know what's stealing your time, eliminate it. Not reduce, eliminate. Make distractions hard to access. Put your phone in another room while working. Delete unnecessary apps. Block websites that pull you in. If you're serious about success, you need to be ruthless with your focus. Because every time you give in to distractions, you are choosing short-term pleasure over long-term success. Second, you need to design an environment that forces you to take action. If your workspace is cluttered and full of distractions, you will struggle to focus. If your room is comfortable and set up for relaxation, you will find it hard to be productive. The key is to make laziness uncomfortable and action easy. Place your workout clothes where you can see them, so you're reminded to exercise. Keep your books within reach instead of your phone. Surround yourself with tools that push you forward, not things that keep you stagnant. But here's something even more powerful. Your environment isn't just physical, it's also the people you surround yourself with. If you're constantly around lazy people, you will adopt their habits. If your conversations are filled with complaints, gossip, and negativity, you will be mentally drained before you even start your own work. That's why successful people are extremely careful about who they let into their inner circle. They don't waste time with energy-draining people. They don't engage in useless conversations. They surround themselves with people who inspire, push, and challenge them. If you want to become productive, you need to be around productive people. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with laziness is because they think willpower is enough. They believe they can resist distractions on their own. But the truth is, willpower is weak. It runs out. You might be able to resist distractions for an hour or two, but eventually you will give in. That's why you need environmental power, not willpower. Set up your surroundings so that laziness is impossible. If junk food isn't in your house, you won't eat it. If your phone isn't next to you, you won't check it. If your workplace is designed for deep focus, you will get work done. The secret to overcoming laziness isn't about forcing yourself to work harder. It's about making distractions and laziness difficult. The harder it is to be lazy, the less likely you are to fall into its trap. High achievers don't have superhuman willpower. They just set up their environment so that success is their only option. So take a look around. What in your environment is making you lazy? What distractions are pulling you away from your goals? What changes can you make right now to ensure that taking action is easier than procrastinating? The answers to these questions will determine your future. Because in the end, your environment is either pushing you forward or pulling you back. The choice is yours. Number 6. Build a mindset of relentless progress. Laziness doesn't just live in your actions, it lives in your mind. It is planted in the way you think, the way you speak to yourself, and the way you perceive effort. If you want to kill laziness once and for all, you don't just need new habits, you need a new mindset. A mindset of relentless progress. A mindset where action is no longer a choice, but a necessity. Where the idea of staying the same is far more painful than the discomfort of growth. Most people think laziness is a physical problem, but it's not. It's a mental war. And the battlefield is your own thoughts. If you don't rewire your mindset, no matter how much action you take, laziness will always find a way to creep back in. The first shift you need to make is changing how you see effort. Most people avoid effort because they think it's painful. They see hard work as suffering, as something to escape. That's why laziness wins, because people think choosing the easy route is the better option. But here's the truth. Effort is not pain. Effort is power. The people who achieve the most in life are the ones who reprogram their minds to love effort. They don't see struggle as something to avoid. They see it as the gateway to growth. The moment you stop running from effort and start embracing it, laziness will have no control over you. Because now, instead of seeing work as punishment, you see it as transformation. Every challenge, every push, every uncomfortable moment is shaping you into something stronger. Another shift you must make is how you talk to yourself. Most people defeat themselves before they even start. They wake up and say, "I'm so tired." They look at their goals and say, "I don't know if I can do this." They see challenges and say, "This is too hard." And then they wonder why they can't take action. Your brain believes what you tell it. If you keep feeding it weakness, it will respond with laziness. But if you start feeding it strength, if you start telling yourself, "I am built for this, I love pushing myself, I thrive under pressure," then something powerful happens. Your body follows your words. The great achievers of the world don't just think differently, they speak differently. They tell themselves what they need to hear, even when they don't feel like it. And eventually it becomes their reality. Now let's talk about the power of visualization. The mind is a powerful thing. It doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. That's why athletes, entrepreneurs, and high performers all use visualization. Before they win, they see themselves winning. Before they succeed, they see themselves succeeding. But most people do the opposite. They visualize failure. They see themselves struggling. They play negative scenarios in their head over and over again. And then they wonder why they can't take action. If you constantly tell your mind that something is hard, that you're not good enough, that you will fail, your brain will make sure that's exactly what happens. But if you start training your mind for success, if you start visualizing yourself as someone who takes action, who dominates challenges, who crushes laziness, then your body will follow. Because your mind creates your reality. Another mental trap that keeps people lazy is seeking instant results. This is where most people fail. They expect success to happen overnight, and when it doesn't, they give up. They start going to the gym, but after a week, they don't see results, so they quit. They start a business, but after a few months, they're not rich yet, so they stop. They read one book, but their life hasn't changed, so they go back to wasting time. This is why laziness wins, because people don't understand the power of compounding effort. Every small action you take is like a seed being planted. At first, you won't see anything. No growth, no change. But if you keep watering it, if you keep showing up, eventually, the results will come. But most people stop watering their seeds before they ever see them grow. That's why success belongs to the ones who stay consistent, even when they can't see the progress yet. The final shift you need to make is understanding that growth is a lifelong process. There is no final destination. There is no moment where you've made it and can stop pushing. The moment you stop growing, you start dying. That's why the greatest achievers never stop. They never settle. They never let themselves become comfortable, because they know that the second you get comfortable, laziness returns. You have to train your mind to see progress as a daily requirement, not something you do when you feel like it. So how do you build this mindset? By taking control of your thoughts, by deciding today that laziness is no longer an option, by speaking power into your mind instead of weakness, by rewiring yourself to see effort as growth instead of pain, by committing to action every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Because here's the truth, your body will get tired, your motivation will fade, but if your mind is strong, you will never stop. And when laziness tries to come back, it will find that it no longer has a place to stay. So ask yourself right now, what kind of mindset do you want to live with? One that keeps you weak, comfortable, and lazy, or one that makes you relentless, unstoppable, and constantly moving forward? Because at the end of the day, you don't become successful by accident. You build yourself into it, and it all starts in your mind. Number 7. The legacy formula: work now, win forever. Laziness doesn't just affect your present, it defines your future. It's not just about what you're not doing today. It's about the impact of those choices years from now. What most people don't realize is that laziness doesn't just delay success, it kills it entirely. Because every moment you waste today is a moment stolen from your future self. Every excuse you make today is a missed opportunity tomorrow. Every time you choose comfort over action, you're setting up a future filled with regret, not results. The question is, when you look back on your life years from now, will you be proud of how you spent your time, or will you be haunted by what you didn't do? That's the true cost of laziness. It's not just what you miss in the short term. It's the opportunities, the success, the wealth, and the legacy that you'll never build because you were too comfortable in the present. Most people think about life in the wrong way. They live as if they have unlimited time, as if they can always start tomorrow, as if there will always be another chance. But the truth is, time is running out every single day. You don't have unlimited time to make your dreams happen. You don't have forever to change your habits. You don't have infinite chances to create the life you want. At some point, the opportunities will be gone. At some point, time will run out. And when that moment comes, the only thing that will matter is what you did with the time you had. Building a legacy is not about a single moment of success. It's about the small daily choices that compound over time. It's about showing up, taking action, and doing the work even when you don't feel like it. Because success isn't built in a day. It's built in the thousands of days that lead up to it. The people who accomplish great things in life aren't the ones who had the best opportunities. They're the ones who worked consistently, relentlessly, and without excuse. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They didn't let distractions steal their focus. They didn't allow laziness to dictate their future. Instead, they took control, made progress every single day, and built something that lasted. One of the most painful truths about laziness is that it doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone around you. It affects your family, your children, your community, and the people who look up to you. Every action you take or don't take creates a ripple effect. When you choose to be lazy, you're not just failing yourself. You're failing everyone who could have been inspired by you. You're failing everyone who could have benefited from your success. And on the flip side, when you choose to take action, when you choose to work, push, and build, you create a legacy that inspires others to do the same. That's the true power of effort. It's not just about your own success. It's about the impact you leave behind. The world doesn't remember lazy people. It remembers the ones who took action. The ones who refused to make excuses. The ones who got up every day and did the work, no matter how they felt. That's what leaves a mark. That's what creates a legacy. Because in the end, nobody will care about how much you wanted to do something. Nobody will remember how many times you thought about starting. Nobody will celebrate the ideas you considered pursuing. The only thing that will matter is what you actually did. But here's the good news. You are in control. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can choose to keep living the way you've been living, making excuses, delaying action, and settling for less. Or you can make a decision, a real, non-negotiable decision to change, to stop letting laziness control you, to stop wasting time, to start building something that actually matters. And if you choose that path, if you commit to action, if you decide that your dreams are worth more than your comfort, then your future will look completely different from your past. So ask yourself, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Do you want to be remembered as someone who had potential but never used it? As someone who had dreams but never chased them? As someone who always planned but never executed? Or do you want to be remembered as someone who took action? As someone who pushed through obstacles, who refused to settle, who worked relentlessly until they achieved everything they set out to do? Because at the end of your life, that's the only thing that will matter. Not what you thought about doing, not what you planned to do, but what you actually did. Laziness is a trap, but it's not a life sentence. You can escape it. You can break free from the cycle of procrastination, excuses, and wasted potential. But it starts now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Because the future isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you create with the choices you make every single day. And the choice you make today will determine whether you spend your life building a legacy or living in regret. So here's your final challenge. Take action today. Not later, not when you feel ready, today. Do something that moves you forward. Take the first step, no matter how small. Because once you start, once you get in motion, once you refuse to stop, you'll realize that laziness never had power over you in the first place. It was always just an illusion. The real power, the power to change, to grow, to succeed, was always in your hands. And it still is. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it? Laziness is not your friend. It never was. It disguises itself as comfort, as relaxation, as something harmless. It tells you that you deserve to rest, that there's always tomorrow, that you have all the time in the world. But the truth is, laziness is stealing from you. It's robbing you of your potential, your progress, and your future. Every time you choose to delay, to procrastinate, to avoid the work you know you need to do, you are letting laziness win. And every time it wins, you lose opportunities, confidence, growth, and eventually the life you could have had. But here's the reality. Laziness is not permanent. It's not a life sentence. It's a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken. If you've been trapped in laziness, if you've wasted time, if you've let opportunities slip away, it's not too late. The past is gone, but the future is still in your hands. And the best way to change your future is to start taking action today. You now have the tools. You know the hidden costs of laziness, the enemies that fuel it, and the power of immediate action. You understand the importance of momentum, discipline, and controlling your environment. You know that success isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about taking action, even when you don't feel like it. The question is, will you use what you've learned? There is no shortcut to success. There is no secret formula. There is only action. Small, consistent steps, taken every single day, no matter how you feel. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. The successful ones refuse to let laziness dictate their lives. They push through discomfort. They work when others quit. They build momentum until action becomes their second nature. And they understand one powerful truth. The pain of action is temporary, but the pain of laziness lasts forever. Think about this. What if you committed right now to killing your laziness? What if, starting today, you took action on your goals every single day? No excuses, no delays. Imagine where you would be in 6 months, a year, 5 years. Your entire life could look different. Because here's the truth. Your future is not something you wait for. It's something you create with the actions you take today. So this is it. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not later. Now, get up, get moving, do the work. Because your dreams, your success, your legacy, they are waiting for you. But they won't come to you. You have to go to them.